Hello, 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 LinkedIn Hotspot, Facebook family, LinkedIn family, YouTube family. This is Miss Nina B, and it is Thursday night. I feel like it's been a while since I've came on live, and for a variety of reasons, I'm hoping that I make it through this whole broadcast for some health issues. But I missed you guys. I have so missed you guys. And so I wanted to come on tonight, talk about a slightly different topic than I normally am. And that is for a reason. And so if you are with me, pull up a chair, take out your notebooks. So tonight, we're actually talking about hashtags. And so you're probably wondering, like, Miss Nina B, why are you talking about hashtags? That's an odd topic. So really what I'm talking about is organic reach for your brand. How do you get in front of people that you may not be connected to and sharing? So you want to increase the reach of your brand. You want to reach more people. You want to get in front of people that you may not be connected with or that aren't following you at this point. So hashtags are a secret weapon on many of the platforms. And so tonight, I'm not only going to be talking about using hashtags on LinkedIn, but I'm going to tell you some basics about hashtags that apply to all the social media platforms. And so if you haven't discovered that a lot of things that I teach you about LinkedIn really do apply on other platforms, I'm going to specifically be pointing that out. So this is the night. So pull up a chair. So I want to know who's with me tonight. Please say hello in the comments. Tell me who you are. Tell me where you're from. And say, are you a speaker? Are you a coach? Are you a career professional? I like to know that. So for those of you who have never met me or may know just a little bit about me, I want to introduce myself to you more formally. I am Miss Nina B. Abdul Wakil. I am a LinkedIn coach and strategist. I am also a corporate leader in the IT space. And so I help speakers, coaches, authors, and career professionals teach them how to leverage social media to establish and promote their brand with a specific emphasis on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is my jam. Okay. Hey, Diane, nice to see you. It is a wonderful evening here in Silver Spring, Maryland, which is where I hail from. So please make sure you let me know where you're coming from, because I know we have people in the community who are from around the world, but I love to know who's with me at a given point in time. So if you happen to be watching from LinkedIn, hello, hello, hello. If you happen to be watching from YouTube, hello, hello to you. And Facebook, my special community, the LinkedIn Hotspot. If you're not currently a member of the LinkedIn Hotspot, you can simply join at any point in time. You can simply go to this Join Miss Nina B that you see the little scrolling ticker. If you go to that URL, you'll answer a couple of questions and I will invite you to the group. Okay. So what are we talking about? Let's talk hashtags. So the thing about hashtags, a lot of people know about hashtags. They've seen hashtags. If you are a frequent Instagram user, you have seen like a lot of hashtags. If you're on Facebook, you may see some hashtags in posts, and on LinkedIn as well. So why do people use hashtags? Well, hashtags What are they? Why do people use them? What should I be thinking about them? Did you know there are different types of hashtags? So hashtags by general sense is either a word or a phrase that is preceded with what we refer to as the pound sign, which you see on the screen. It is kind of like a crisscross sign, something that if you're from old school, reminds you of a tic-tac-toe grid. But it is a symbol that is tells the different platforms what is following that is a unique searchable element. So I could put hashtag Miss Nina B. And if the systems find other posts or content on them with that same hashtag, it considers that they're all related in some way. What can happen is people can use hashtags to identify their content. It actually helps the search engines to find their content on a given platform or even cross-platform. You want to make sure that your content is available and searchable. A big factor. Why? Otherwise, what's the point of putting the content out there if you don't want to make it available for people to find? So by using hashtags, you help people find your content. Now, hey Dan, nice to see you. Now, well, you may say to yourself, well, how do I figure out what hashtags to use? Well, there are different types of hashtags. And I'm going to talk about the different types of hashtags. They fall into different categories. If you think about the hashtags you've seen, this all is going to make a lot of sense to you. So I'll start with the basic ones. Things that are industry specific kind of hashtags. So if I was in the finance industry, I might use something like #finance, or I may be in financial investments. I could do #investments. I'm an entrepreneur. There's a lot of things that go along with entrepreneurship. So I often post and I'll use the hashtag entrepreneurship because that's more of the industry. I could use information technology or IT, all those things that are industry specific. If you're in the supply chain industry, #supply chain. So that's a category of hashtags. Now, why is it important for you to understand and identify the industry hashtags that relate to your content? Because typically, people are going to be following those industry hashtags. People on different platforms, people can search and they can follow a hashtag. So if you're using a hashtag like finance or accounting, then likely people are going to be following it because that's their area of interest. Guess what? A lot of times I'm posting and I'm using hashtag LinkedIn or LinkedIn tips because people who are looking to level up on their LinkedIn, understand more about using the platform, they're typically following that hashtag. Or when they decide they need some help, they're probably going to search for that hashtag. So we got it? Good. So one of the first types, content types, hashtag types that we're talking about is industry hashtags. Okay. If you're with me, write that in the chat for me. Industry hashtags. Industry hashtags. The second type that you want to think about is related specifically to your content. So, for instance, it may be that you're in the finance industry, and so that may be your industry, but the content that you're putting out may be around, the tax schedule or the IRS or something like that. So you might want to add to your hashtag list, because you can have a list, something that's specific to your content. So I might use hashtag finance and then hashtag taxes or hashtag IRS, something that's specifically about the content that you're posting. Now, you always want to think about from the perspective of the searcher. Who is going to find this content, right? What hashtag would they think to use to find this content? So we've got industry, and then we got content specific hashtags. So that's type 2 or category 2. So if somebody can write that in the chat, I would love that. Category 2 of hashtag is content specific hashtags. Now, the third category of hashtags is custom hashtags. Custom hashtags are pretty much everything else. Custom hashtags could be custom for your brand or custom for some context that you're putting the content out for. So, prime example, brand specific. My brand is Miss Nina B. I often use # Miss Nina B on my posts. That's a custom hashtag. Eventually, I'll get people following Miss # Miss Nina B because they want to make sure they want to see my content. And if you have a brand, you will want to make sure that you have a brand hashtag that you want to consistently use. Try not to switch it up on people. They want to follow a particular one and know they can identify that with you. So a brand is a custom one would be like a brand hashtag. Another one could be something associated with what I call within a context. So for instance, if there's a challenge, when I do challenges in my Facebook group, I may say, put a hashtag LinkedIn Hotspot Challenge. Or now you're familiar with all kinds of challenges that happen on Instagram and TikTok and even Facebook. I look great at 50 challenge or #, ice bucket challenge or # peanut butter challenge or whatever, all kinds of stuff that people are doing. But what happens is when people post, then that hashtag is what people will go looking for to find all the posts associated with that context. Okay, so that will fall into the category of custom hashtags. Now, so we got industry hashtags, we got content hashtags, and we got custom hashtags. Pretty much the sky is the limit. Now, when it comes to industry, really with all of them, it's okay to kind of make up hashtags as you go along, but you do yourself a disservice actually when you do that, because you want to think about what would people be searching for. Hey, Rob. See, look, Rob is adding to the content. Thank you. What would people be searching for that they would come across your content? So if I said if I happen to suddenly start using, if I just look, pound sign, I'm Malik's mom, the likelihood of somebody searching and finding that content is pretty slim. They may, because they just had a random thought, but highly unlikely. However, if I use something like pound sign Miss Nina B, pound sign LinkedIn coach, more, those are more common. One is my custom brand one. As people get to know me and they say, hey, that's Miss Nina B, I know if I use that hashtag, I can find her content. Hey, LinkedIn coach, LinkedIn tips, I know that's where I can find LinkedIn information. So that's what you want to think about when you're posting your content on any of these platforms, whether it's LinkedIn, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Instagram, even TikTok, Twitter, wherever, and you're using hashtags, you want to think about how will people be searching to find this content. Okay, so my great friend Rob, he put a big post, but this is a great indicator. This is showing how many people are following a given hashtag. So when you're thinking about what hashtags to use, start by doing some research. Start by doing some research. So, for instance, here, pound sign management, 36 million people are following it. Okay. Now, branding, 18 million. Networking, you see all of this stuff. You want to think about, are people connected to that hashtag? When they have taken the action, to actually on the platform to follow that hashtag, that means that hashtag has importance to them. And they are interested in content that's associated with that hashtag. So before you use a hashtag, you want to do some research. What hashtags, one, make sense for my brand, my content, my message to my target audience, don't get out of alignment. Like, I should not post something about LinkedIn and use hashtags for finance. That would not work. It would just confuse my audience. But if I was posting something about leadership, using LinkedIn to promote not only their personal brand, but their company's brand, I could use things like LinkedIn, leadership, management, branding, because my content all hits those things. So, how many hashtags should you use? That is the magical question across the platforms. Now, on Instagram, which I'll start there, I have seen up to 10 to 20 different hashtags. Instagram expert that I'm connected with indicated that 10 to 20 hashtags is your sweet spot. But you want to think about those just as much thought that you want to give to the small list, you want to give to the bigger list of hashtags. Because once again, it's all about search engines. It's all about the search engine and the platforms providing the content to the people who are interested in that content based on the hashtags you use. When on Instagram, you can think about using a whole combination of custom hashtags, industry hashtags, as well as content-oriented hashtags. Facebook has had a fluctuation on its hashtag use. It's coming back. If you notice, you may notice if you're posting on Facebook, it may actually prompt you around hashtags, but you don't want to overdo it. So start simple, like max out at like 5 hashtags, but think about what 5 you're using, because this is your way of getting in front of people that you may not be friended with, or that's not in your group. So this is, if you set your post to public, this is on Facebook. If you set your post to public, you want to get, they'll find it through searching. Now, on my favorite love platform, LinkedIn, the number of hashtags that is considered favorable continues to creep up a little bit. So I'm going to recommend you max out at 6. Recently I heard 9, but I'm on the fence about that. So I'm going to recommend, this is Miss Nina B, I'm going to recommend you max out at 6. Okay, can we get somebody to put that in the chat? Miss Nina B says LinkedIn hashtags max at 6. So if you're maxing at 6 and you want to have a good mix, you want to have at least one is your brand hashtag. You want to start owning your brand hashtag on the platform. Then you have 5 more that you can use that could be a mixture of industry and content. And you can actually throw in another custom one. So for instance, when I do my challenge, one of those will probably be, hey, I always tell people, use the hashtag from the challenge. Rob does a lot of challenges as well. So use the hashtag from the challenge, because that helps the community that is involved in the challenge to find and support each other, right? So, but think about using hashtags to extend your reach. Okay. So I want to recap real quick. And if you have any questions, put questions in the comments. Put the questions in the comments so I can answer them for you as I recap real quick why you would be using hashtags, what are hashtags, and the different types of hashtags, and how many you should use on the different platforms. So hashtags allow you to organically extend the reach of your content on different platforms by making it more searchable by the different search engines on the platforms. So if someone goes and searches for # life coach, and you're using that in your content, you got it. You'll show up in the listing. People can follow hashtags on the different platforms because that indicates their interest in that topic arena. You want to use hashtags that fall into 3 different categories. One is industry, right? Industry specific hashtags that relate to a higher level, broader industry. And you can even niche down on hashtags as well. And when you talk about industry, you can have a combination of broad and niche. And then you have content specific hashtags, the things that is in the content that you're posting. If you're using something like Instagram, 10 to 20 hashtags, using something like Facebook, like 5 hashtags. Excuse me. I'm winding down. If you're using LinkedIn, my recommendation is you max out at 6. Okay, let me check the comments real quick. I appreciate you guys so much for listening and tuning in with Miss Nina B. Tonight we were talking about hashtags. And so don't neglect this free method of extending your reach for your content. Start experimenting. See how much traction you get. See how much, new impressions or views you get from your content. Also, bonus tip. Bonus tip. Your custom personal brand hashtag. Don't miss the opportunity to encourage people to follow that hashtag. Say, hey, if you like this content, follow my hashtag. You can ask for that on the different platforms. You'll start to see that follow count increase. Remember, I've told you before, don't hesitate to put the call to action in your post. Encourage people's behavior that you want to see. You want them to follow you? Ask them to follow you. Okay. That's a wrap up of hashtags. Hopefully you found this helpful. If you do, please put it in the comments. Tag a friend in the comments that you think needs this tip, this content. Let me know if you have any other questions. If you're on Team Replay, which is a team I love, Team Live is great, as well as Team Replay. We're all good here. If you're on Team Replay, please make sure you put # Team Replay. Let me know you watched. Let me know what you learned. If you already have a custom hashtag, put it in the comments. Put it in the comments. I want to see some of the creative custom hashtags that you use to associate your brand. So before I go, I want to just invite you guys, if you aren't already a member of my community, I invite you to join the LinkedIn Hotspot, which is my Facebook group. It is a great place where I drop all kinds of information all through the week to help people level up on their LinkedIn. Simply go to joinmissninab.com, answer a couple of questions, and put in your request to join, and I'll be approving people. I typically approve people every day, so I invite you to join this growing community. So I see a question from Diane. Here we go. Are you saying to use 6 hashtags at one time on LinkedIn? Yes, you can. So you can use 6 hashtags in a given post. Typically, the hashtags are at the bottom of the post, but you can actually add them within the post if it makes sense in the flow of the content. But typically, you would find hashtags at the bottom of the post. And LinkedIn actually can help you. If you're like, start the #, it'll give you prompts as to suggested hashtags that you could use. But once again, I encourage people to search, do your research first on hashtags. And so yeah, like I said, Diane said, yeah, I'm still maxing out at 3. Yeah, so that was the guidance last year. It continues to evolve. I think LinkedIn is trying to get people to use more hashtags to, be more thoughtful. So even last month, I heard someone say 9. I'm not so sure about that. So I would say try 6. That's Miss Nina B's recommendation. All right. So, thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in at the LinkedIn Hotspot Live show, streaming live into Facebook. YouTube, and LinkedIn. And I am your host, Miss Nina B. I am so happy you joined us tonight. Please join us next week, the same time, same bad channel, and another wonderful topic to help you to grow your brand. Good night, all.